Hey guys, my name is Dango Torres, and today we're going to be telling a story. I'm going to be telling a story that's very special to me, and it's a very personal story to every musician. It's going to be about how I wrote my first song. Now, we're going to go way, way back to when I first started writing my own music. Now, again, this is the first song I ever wrote, no duh. This song is called She Makes Me Feel, and it is released, and it was released on the remaster of my first album, The Beginning, which is out on all streaming platforms. I wrote this song in the summer of 2022, like I did a lot of the songs that came off of that album. And I didn't get to release it until a year later. And I wrote this song on this guitar, and this was my first ever acoustic. So this guitar has meant a lot to me. I've used it on all of my recordings up to this point. It's just a great acoustic, and it stays in tune. You know, I don't have any problems with it. It really just sweet little Fender acoustic they got for 200 something bucks. And my grandmother gave it to me actually on my 13th birthday as a birthday present. And so I've loved this guitar ever since. And she's got some wear on her, some battle scars, you know, here and there, some dinks, you know, but no major damage. It's just a great guitar. I've got, 11 to 52s on this one. That's just how I like my acoustics. I like the tone to be very warm. So how I wrote this song, and what I wrote it about, and who, let's say that. Because the first ever song that I wrote was about a girl. No, not like Nirvana. I mean, like, I wrote this song about a female that I was interested in. And I don't think I was even 14 years old yet when I wrote this song. And I was sitting in my room, and I was just thinking about this girl that I had met, at the community pool. And we had been talking a while. I got her number and everything. We would call every other night, it would seem like, and we would just chat, friendly, nothing like that. But over time, the course of a couple months, I sort of caught feelings for her. And after like a month or so, maybe I wrote this song about her, decided, let me just write something about her. So I think I still have it somewhere, but it was like 3 or 4 pages worth of nothing, just writing down one-liners about her, just thinking about everything I could about her. And I took a lot of those one-liners and put it into the structure of this song. Now, I didn't know what I was going to do for the music, so all I did was I took, like the key of A. I said, I don't like it up here. I'm going to play it up here, the same notes, right? I'm going to play it up here, which is another thing, fretboard fluency. It's the same notes in different places on the guitar. This is basically just like an A major sort of thing. It's just really like an interval. I mean, you can call it a triad. You've got a perfect eighth right here, and then you've got the third all together. And then it has this really like sort of mellow sort of sound to it, which is what I really liked about it, and especially with this guitar. It has that sort of vibe to it. And then I went up here and I did... And then I went back and I said, I need a rhythm for this. So I decided to start playing around with these. I had been going into finger picking because at the time I had been learning Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton. That sort of thing. It's been a while actually since I played that. But I went in and I just sort of, what if I sped this up? Then we had the rhythm for the song, and then I decided, what if I just... Oh, I like that. Let's go back. Go back again. And I just went back and forth on 1 to 4 for a little while. And then after a while I went... And I was like, why does that sound so good? Because that was my first ever introduction to the blues sort of 1-4-5 progression. And it wasn't in the most practical way, you would assume. I had been listening to blues a little bit. I was mostly just aware of it at that point. But I was so intrigued by just this simple progression. And at the time I was really obsessed with, like, you know, the Beatles and Nirvana and all these more poppy sounding sort of acts, you know. And so I decided to do a little lover boy ballad out of this, right? And now here, let's go back to the story about this, because I wrote this and I demoed it on this phone right here. This is a really, oh my goodness, see, look, the magnet like snapped. I think I might have, this phone, I haven't opened this case in like 5 years. So this is my old LG Aristo 4 or something like that. That might be the model. I don't know. I don't want to even try and turn this thing on because it's wrapped in a little wallet case for a reason. It's like a tomb. Because I never wanted to see, and I had that phone for a while, actually. Before I wrote the song, I had it for about a year and change, maybe 2. And it was a Wi-Fi phone. I didn't have data on it, you know, because I grew up with Wi-Fi phones my whole life. But I recorded the demo for that song on this phone, and you're about to hear a little bit of it. And yeah, you know, I listen to this sometimes and I cringe because that was me, and my voice is it's so much like higher as opposed to when I sing now, or even when I sing a year ago. That's the thing about being a musician that's, you know, still growing. Your voice is going to change, but even like musicians in general, your voice changes over the course of your life. But here's a little clip from that demo so you guys can get an idea of what I was doing.
Don't know why I remember this dream. We were walking through the fields, and then I said I love you. Then she told me this is real. Will you be with me forever? Death can't stop us now.
Yeah, that was oh boy. I definitely wouldn't have played that song to her in that with that voice looking back on it. I'm glad I didn't. As a matter of fact, the end of that story of how I wrote the song, the origins of the song, I never got to actually play her the song, and she doesn't know I wrote it about her. I still know this person, by the way. I don't have a crush on her because I'm not like that, you know. I'm chill. I'm just a chill guy. But she never knew I had a crush on her, and I'm glad, because I'm horrible at that kind of stuff. Absolutely, like, it's horrible to even watch me try and do something like that, and, you know, approach a girl. It's really bad, actually. And I've been with lots of women over the course of, you know, my teenage years, probably too many, but it's always been just as scary each time to go up and say hello, especially nowadays. But she never heard that song. I never got to play it for her. I never even got to send it to her. And for a while, I just voided the song completely. I wrote these other things, you know, like Back to Houston and Disregarding Faces, all on this guitar too. Freaking same like month I wrote those 2 songs. And I wrote some other stuff as well over the course of the next year. Fast forward to then, let's go to the recording process. I didn't just include the guitar on here. At the time, I was in middle school and I was in the orchestra, and I was playing upright bass. So I decided I wanted to have a upright bass line, not like a bass line, like, you know, like more like just like a sort of like mellow sort of humming in the background of the root notes, is what I sort of called it. So you can hear that on the recording from the beginning, and there's also some other overdubbed guitars there. I recorded all of that stuff in 2023 when I was getting ready to record The Beginning, which came out on June 1st of that year. And I never released it on The Beginning initially. Initially on The Beginning, it was an EP. It was 4 songs. It was Back to Houston, The Wheel, which I almost never play live, Disregarding Faces, and Hear My Noise. And I never play that one live either because it's just not my style anymore. But She Makes Me Feel and a few other numbers were still, you know, recorded in that era, including Justified and Fill the Air, which came out on the whole next album. And I decided when I was remastering that album in 2024 that I would, due to a change of distributors, by the way, we don't like DistroKid on this channel, I decided that, you know, I was going to remix the whole album, and I included those 4 extra tracks on there. So now the Beginning is technically an LP. And I never had the words or letters EP on the front cover anyway, so I could get away with that. So that was, it was an interesting experience. I'm not in the same space that I was when I recorded it. I actually recorded the guitar and the bass, the upright bass, the contrabasso, in the other room here in my house. And I was sitting on my bedside because I didn't have enough space in my room to sit on my bar stool and record with the microphone stand and everything. And so I sat, with my bass like this off the edge of my bed, and I'm, doing the whole thing, not actually, I don't think my vibrato technique was even developed at that point, but because I'd only been playing bass for what, like a few months, I don't know. At the time I recorded it, I had been playing it for almost a year, and I recorded it all on BandLab too. That's the other thing. That's the thing about the first two albums that I really wish I did differently. I recorded it on BandLab, and that was really just, but it was what it was. For what it was, I think it was all right. In context of everything, for it being the first ever song I wrote on the first ever album that I planned to record, that I recorded in this room here mostly, and in the other room I recorded with a $300 laptop, a $150 Focusrite Scarlett, which I still have and I still use daily, and a $19 microphone and a $5 microphone stand that I got from a garage sale, and then of course Tangerine and this guitar. And that was it. That was the beginning. It was just those few things that made that album what it was. And BandLab being my DAW was probably the worst decision I made. But hey, listen, it was fine. I think I made it well with what I had, and I made the best out of what I had. That's what my music career actually has sort of been about, because I don't come from a lot of money. I never have, and so I don't rely on other people to really. And the other thing about me is I don't rely on other people to give me handouts or help me out financially. I'm sort of like, I'm a very independent person. Whenever I need to do something, I'm going to do it myself. And whenever I need to buy something, I'll save up money, and within time I will buy it, But I'm never going to ask anybody, hey, you got $20, you got $5 I could borrow? I think that's really just cheap, and I learned from an example of that, why you shouldn't do that. Anyways, that was how that song sort of came to be. So I released it initially after I remastered the album, and so it's only been a couple years since that came out. But out of all the songs off of the beginning deluxe remastered, that song is doing the best out of all of them. And it's gotten the most streams out of the other songs off of that. I mean, there's some crap that's completely unfinished off of that album. It's just like demos, and it's retarded. It was fine enough to remix and release, but I didn't see it as like something that I was proud of, because it was like half-assed products or stuff that I made in a very musically incapable part of my musical journey, and of course practice is practice, but it was a very weird time of my life as well. I was basically still reteaching myself how to play the guitar and getting up to the skill that I was at the first 6 months of playing, which wasn't much, but at that point, I was recovering from a brain injury at the same time, and I think I had just been medically cleared from wearing a medical helmet that I wore for about a year after my injury. Anyways, that song, I'll be honest with you, I like it. I don't play it live. I don't hate it. I don't have any ill will towards the song. The backstory's kind of sad, because it's like, never got to play it to that girl, damn. Which, if you're watching this video, I'm not gonna name drop. If you're watching this video, you probably don't know that I liked you. But if I knew you in 2022, and we hung out at the community pool a lot, you probably know who you are. So let's finish off this video with maybe a performance of this song. I haven't played this song in years. Oh, these aren't even the original lyrics. Okay, let's go back to something. Because before I play this song, I want to tell you guys something. I wanted to remake this song for the longest time because I didn't like how uneven the song structure was. That's just me being a perfectionist. Now looking back, I would remake this song. If I had the time to, I would remake this song. But I would keep the song structure the same. There's an uneven amount of lines and everything like that. But I still like the song for what it is, and I don't feel the need to change it. You know, that's sort of, it's like a timestamp. It's almost like these songs are snapshots of, and you know, these ultimately unique mixes of time, space, circumstance, and emotion that really you can't replicate. You know, otherwise it would sound completely different if you tried to. This is She Makes Me Feel, from what I can remember. My name is Dango Torres. It would be very much appreciated if you checked out this album. It's on Bandcamp primarily if you want to stream it, but it's also on Spotify and Apple and all the other stuff if you want to stream that as well. Without further ado, this is She Makes Me Feel. My name is Dango Torres. Thank you all for watching.
She makes me feel complete. Her smile's contagious. A million bandages couldn't fix half of what she has. I wouldn't trade her for the world. I think you should know that. I don't know why I remember this dream. We were walking through the fields, and then I said I love you, and she told me this is real. Will you be with me forever? Death can't stop us now. I used to think love was no good until I met my match. She makes me feel like $1 million. My love for her is mad. Accept me how I am, and then I'll love you till the end. I want you to be inside of my life, and no one's gonna stop us till we're nearing 85. Think of her as my ecstasy. I can't believe it's real, and I can't help but smile with the way she makes me feel.